Can you hear me out there? We're gonna host this Apex on Live Tournament 2. 15 winning teams, 10,000 prize pool. DTive.tv/esports will be live in 8 minutes.
Nebo se to ojeba, takže dáte Oceanic server a dáte tam 40k bomby?
No jakože to jsme udělali udělat na NA.
I have to kill the sound for now because music will get money. Catch it at DLive.tv. Thanks for tuning in to the Twitch channel.
DLive TV, ej moc, boys. Už je to vždycky plebům.
I'm doing well, thank you very much. I'm pretty excited to do my first Apex Legends broadcast.
I need help. He's actually thirsting. Are you fucking kidding? Oh fuck, dude. No, he's below. He's rezzing. We're trash. Trip, remember, don't be a hero if friends.
Yeah, I've been like pretty much everyone are very addicted to this game. I think one of the after day one, I just like made a podcast where I was like, this is how it fixes all battle royale issues in the previous games, like in Fortnite and PUBG and so on and so forth. And Blackout, like I think this game does a lot of stuff right for the user experience to be like way better on average, and also competitively, I think there's a lot of potential more so than some other battle royales. So I got lots to say about it.
All right, I just realized that my microphone is muted for the entire intro for the stream. So standard stuff. Why not? Nice. Why not? Anyway, I'll say that all over again. Welcome to the DLive TV Apex Legends tournament and broadcast. This is the second week now. We have another week of action coming for you next week. Today we have 2 hours for all these guys to try and get up as many kills and wins as possible. Previously, the wins counted for +5 points on the leaderboard. This time it's +10 points. So there's a lot more to get out of the end game on this occasion. They are playing for plenty of prize money as well. So we are on location with Trapeze to kick things off. We've got a number of tabs open. Once the leaderboard starts to warm up, then we'll keep an eye on the top of the table and we'll start to move through the people who are competing for the first place.
DLivers, by the way.
So Dan and I have both been playing. Dan's out in LA, so he's playing on completely different servers of different people, but I'm enjoying it as well. Have you had any play with that new weapon in the game yet?
The Havoc, yeah, the Havoc's
The Havoc.
It's a weird one because it
Do
doesn't
not
operate
like
with the
it
same hop as the
unless
Devotion
you
does,
get
so you can get that, like turbocharged hop, and so when you actually get it fully upgraded, it's
still
pretty
to
brutal
not
because
have
it
to
does
worry about charging it.
It just does insane damage with that energy type of ammo, which is kind of cool. And I was kind of expecting that would be one of the guns they would add, another like energy ammo gun, because I think otherwise there's only just like the Devotion and the triple take. So it's kind of cool that they are expanding the weaponry already.
Yeah, when I saw the beginning of the video, to me, I thought it was a railgun. I was like, oh my god, if they put a railgun in the game, is this like, if they put a Quake gun in the game? And I was like mad excited, but I haven't used it just yet. But it doesn't look like a railgun. But the fact that they're adding, oh dear, he's dead. That fact that they're adding more weapons in the game is cool. So the closer they get to the railgun, the happier I will be for sure. So as you can see,
yeah,
go on.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I think the way that they've taken, like, the approach they've taken with this game is awesome, because you know that when they put anything in the game, it's just like polished from the get-go, and they've got like a really strong foundation for the game to like be adding stuff in. It's not like they've got a game which has, is buggy all over the place and broken all over the place, and they're just like, oh, here's another cool feature, and it's like, no, actually the stuff they're adding actually just works and it's quite polished from the beginning. So I'm really impressed, honestly, by the developers from this game.
All right, I'm moving over to the Vector L4D, which I guess is Left 4 Dead. Vector Left 4 Dead, since Trapeze had died very quickly in that first game. His team are busy taking the screenshots and so on. So we'll give it maybe another 5-10 minutes and we'll start to look at the leaderboard and see the initial results which are coming in.
Yeah, it's interesting, like, strategically. Obviously, for this kind of a competition, you want to get as many kills as possible. Obviously, they've changed it so that you get more you get more rewarded for getting those wins as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what strategies players go with. I think that we'll probably see most people, or at least what makes the most sense to me, is dropping in some of those more densely populated areas, like getting those hot drops on stuff like Skull Town. Those drops are really good, I think, because if you win those areas, you start off with such good gear, and you're very likely to either die immediately and maybe get a bunch of kills at the beginning, or and then be able to like rinse repeat for another go of it to just get all those points for the kills, or you actually just get a really strong start. Because a lot about this game as well is about sustain. With if you're playing against good teams and players, it's about having more sustain than the others. Because the fights last quite a long time, and like from what I've understood from a lot of my playing is that when you're playing against good teams and good individuals, they understand how to take cover, they understand how to move together, they understand how to disengage, and the movement options are great, and the options defensively are kind of good as well if you want to disengage from those fights. So having more sustain than your opponents when you're playing against a skilled team, a skilled squad, is actually like really useful. And so if you get that strong start on like a Skull Town or something, get up straight from the get-go, it really pays off.
What character are you playing in the? Is there like one character you play, or are you switching between different characters?
I think so I probably have like a similar experience to you in that I haven't been playing consistently with some friends. I've been mixing and matching, so it's mostly been that we haven't really been focusing on compositions, as opposed to just dudes that I like and think will maybe complement whatever my friends are playing at the time. But I think for me, Pathfinder is incredible because of the movement options he has. It's just very fun, very short cooldown. There's a lot of movement tricks you can do with the grapple that can allow you to have like basically you can just outskill people just through movement pretty enormously in certain areas. And the zip line, obviously, for your team gives you a lot of options to even go in and out of, let's say, the circle. Let's say if there's like a bunch of death boxes or something outside of the circles that's coming in, you can just easily like traverse those big distances with a zip line. So it is loads of function from that. A lot of fun. For me, also, Bloodhound is an amazing counter to when you run into those Bangalores, and I think Bangalore will probably be maybe the third one for me. Just because the smoke and the sort of like airstrike is so strong also. So those are like the three for me: Bloodhound, Bangalore, and Pathfinder are awesome. What about you?
I at the moment am playing Caustic because like I just like his personality and the things he says are amazing. and I like trapping people in houses and then throwing like the gas canister in there and stuff like that. So that's up my street. He's my kind of pervert, so I'm done with that.
Honestly, like I gotta say, Caustic is really strong. Like I think early and late game. I think mid game is a bit more difficult when you're kind of like traversing the map, trying to chase down the circle and stuff. But those early game fights, like again, I keep mentioning Skull Town. It's like one of my favorite like hot drops. You have all these like close fights in these corridors, and you actually can like very legitimately set up a lot of different traps with the gas, and I think it's really powerful in that way. And also the late game, the way that you can set up traps and clear buildings with Caustic with his ults is like super strong. And the combination of Caustic, Bangalore, Bloodhound is like really nice because you can just see through all the smokes. It's really powerful. So yeah, he's actually quite viable in all stages, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to play him even if he isn't, basically, because that's just how I roll. Shout outs to everybody in the chat as well. Make yourselves known. I see that there's a guy called Weeaboo saying hello. Hope you make it to Japan one day. Live your dream, baby. Let us know where you're tuning in from. What countries are you guys at? Let me know. All right, so these guys are down to the last 5 squads, actually. Got some nice tagging now with the wingman. He's got the scope as well. You can hear the call out that the guy's one shot away. The hunt is on. Goodbye. There's some gold bits in the box to pick up.
Yeah, the wingman is something that I think will get nerfed, actually. The wingman is pretty ridiculous. I don't know if you've been watching players that have very good aim, James, but it's like there's this threshold with that gun where you just annihilate everyone with it. That and the Peacekeeper are ridiculously strong. I think they're gonna nerf what I would do if I respawn is I would probably nerf the firing speed, or like create a recall or something, so you'd have to like wait longer between shots. I think that would be like an okay way to balance it out, but it's pretty ridiculous.
I know with Shroud, for example, he finds it too easy with things like the wingman, so he doesn't mess with it too much because it's just like not exciting, it's not engaging. Which is pretty crazy, but
you're talking about railgun, like a railgun in this game, and that basically is what it is. It's like it is a railgun. It just does slightly less damage, but it fires so quickly that there's like So long as you hit them dead on with the ADS, like it's just gonna connect. So it's way too good, I think.
All right, once this overlay goes away, we'll see how many players are left in this game.
I'm dropping 2.
How many teams are left, rather. Down to the last 3. So these guys are in a very good spot. They've all got purple armor. They're in a very good spot to get an extra 10 points by winning this straight away. If I'm not mistaken, purple armor is essentially the same as... I think purple gear is the same as gold gear, but there's a bonus with gold gear, like you seeing through smoke with a scope, or I think you can res yourself if you're crawling around if you have a gold backpack. I want to say
that's the knockdown shield is like the self res.
Yeah.
But yeah, the gold items are cool. They have those little effects on them, like you can like half the time to use like a heal item or like a shield item, stuff like that, and or like decrease the amount of cooldowns and so on for your tactical ability and as well. Like it's actually really cool. I like how they've incentivized players to go for those supply drops, to like go for those hopefully pick up those gold items and how rare they are. And it's kind of cool because I feel like it doesn't break the game in any way. It's just like this fun thing. It's like every so often it's like, I'm going to pick this up and now I feel like pretty strong, but it's not going to make you just crush people, which is really cool. I feel like the game doesn't have anything in it really that is gimmicky, honestly. Like I don't feel like there's any like push this button to win kind of mechanics in this game, which is really nice.
Yeah, I like the quality of the game straight out of the gates. And it's like I'm not the kind of person who would play every battle royale game that comes out, but this one is definitely up my street. I like. I'm just listening to what these guys are like. Don't go in there. We don't want to fight. No, these guys are ready for this. This is the interesting difference between last week and this week is that look how long there are 3 squads left. Look how long it takes to finish off the fight from this point. Last week it was only worth an extra 5 points if you ignore the kills. But I think 10 points is a real game changer because for me, in certain spots, I would have just considered like a team suicide, jumping into a waterfall or something at certain points, just to try and spend more time getting more frags at the beginning of a game rather than spending loads of time searching for people late game. But I think 10 points could really come in handy because we saw a lot of back and forth in like the top 6. I want to say even in the 4th hour of last week's broadcast.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great point because you've got to always think about variance, and like you said, there's probably some I don't know, some statisticians and mathematicians you could like calculate like this perfect formula to like what is like the most effective way to spend your time, and you do have this idea where like you don't know where the drop ships like the path it's going to take. And sometimes you're going to be the hot drops, like you say, you may want to just restart and get those hot drops again and again. Sometimes those hot drops are in areas where there's like not actually a huge amount of weapons, so that your likelihood to be able to beat other teams to weapons and like maybe the weapons you get will suck. Like there's a lot of variance in that. So I like that the points are being sort of rebalanced in that way. So the players are encouraged to play it out and actually just try to like play aggressively too. Because as you say, like you want to cut down the time, you want to see if you can get that information quickly. And there are obviously like there are ways you can do that more safely if you pick a composition which, as we've mentioned, like with Pathfinder, like you've got good movement options to like quickly traverse big areas. And the Bloodhound is great because it allows you to obviously find and spot players which you may otherwise not be able to spot. So it's cool that the players are encouraged to play it out and be aggressive to avoid the variance of those hot drops.
All right. Oh my god. All right, we're going to leave the comms down to the last players now. They've got 1 team left, so we'll just listen to them.
Be careful. 2 of them over there. I'm throwing.
Oh, one on me.
Push back. I'm coming.
He's one. No, he's one in the building. Left guy. Bro, I'm going down. The Bloodhound is low. Fusion.
Fuck, dude. He one pumped me.
Oh no! They came second.
Rip.
But who came first? I'm not sure if the other squad were DLive as well, because that would be really interesting. All right, I'm gonna go to the. Ooh.
I wonder if it was because I just see on another stream that someone won. So.
Oh, nice. All right, I'm gonna go to the leaderboard now, so we're both gonna be on camera. So hello to everybody. We've got me over here, and then we've got Dan that way. So hello, Dan's in LA. I got my green screen now. I'm wearing like a sexy kind of leopard skin thing today. I don't know. I'm feeling excited. What can I say? So I need to refresh this page. Bear with me a second. And we can see how things are doing. Obviously, the result from that particular game won't be in just yet. They'll need to take their screenshots and send them in. But if we just quickly refresh the page, then we can see how people are doing. So first place at the moment, we have Asura Double X. Team GG in second place. Bunker Boys. I like that. That's a nice team name. I'm pretty sure Team Liquid are playing today as well. They've picked up a team recently, so we might see them. Obviously, it's very early days, so we're going to have a lot of different people here at the moment. So let's see. We've got Officials, New Realm, Who Dis, Twix Flavored G Fuel, Deluxus, Noble Esports. Okay, we've got an esports team in there already. Bunker Boys, M3D, Team GG, All Planned, Revival, and Cute Boys. We got Cute Boys in first place. So, well, I mean, these guys just came very close to an extra 10 points, and they missed out on that. That really sucks for those guys. But we've got 2 hours to play with here, so there's plenty more play where that came in from. So who are we going to tune into next? I'm going to just see who is...
What about Cute Boys?
Cute.
They took the leads.
Cute Boys, okay. All right,
see if
let's
they can
do that.
maintain it. See if they got any strats.
Dids GG. Okay. All right, let's go to the Cute Boys stream. It's loading up at the moment.
So so Cute Boys actually dropped in Cascades.
Them on this bridge here, so
And
okay.
one of the things that's cool about this game is that like each area it's pretty fast to loot and it's pretty fast to get into the next area. And Cascades is kind of cool because it's kind of in the center and it's kind of near the bunker. And I feel like
here he comes.
it's like a medium sort. I don't know like what would be a great terminology for it, but it's obviously like not this like hot drop where there's loads of people. Maybe you'll like find 1 or 2 squads nearby, so you can get those fights. And the area like typically does actually have some decent loot as well. So this looks like a nice sort of what could be a consistent start. And also like if you know, some teams will have looting routes. They'll have like dropping patterns and so on. And so this is also one of those areas where you can more consistently achieve that. And you can more consistently get it off of your drop as well, because it's in the center of the map, more or less. You're going to be like, no matter where the drop ship's coming from, you can pretty reliably get your start there. So I kind of like that we're seeing this from them, and I'm looking forward to seeing if that's like a consistent approach. Because I mean, obviously, like in a competition like this, we talked about how do you remove the variance. That's like a really big deal, and so maybe this is their answer.
We can get some high ground advantage.
We've got people tuned in from England, Australia, USA, Spain,
Currently rocking a level 1 as well.
Germany. We've got people donating lemons, diamonds, all kinds of bits.
Give me the lemons.
Dan wants the lemons.
Another thing that's really interesting about this game, right, is that the way that they do the gunplay is pretty awesome, because although you do have some guns which are like, if you're a great aimer, a wingman is like an obvious choice. Like when I find a wingman as a Quake person, it's like I'm picking a wingman up. I'm picking a peacekeeper up. Like both, because you don't need to play long range in this game, because the movement options create this world where maybe you get, if you play a sniper, maybe you get a shot off on someone, maybe you get like 100 damage. But if that team you're fighting against has been proactive, they're a good team, they probably have a lot of sustain. So you probably wouldn't be able to take them down from that, and they'll heal up and they can close the distance pretty quick. So I've been thinking like the short to medium range focuses are really strong, and we can already see on our perspective here, like Dids has gone. He's gone for the R99, which is like this like super high rate of fire SMG. It's actually pretty legit, especially with the attachments and the Peacekeeper for the close range. And Peacekeeper is just like so strong. I don't know if you've been playing with it, James, but you can just easily take down an entire squad by yourself by like understanding how to use the environment and the kind of architecture, whatever building you're in those close range fights, to just like annihilate an entire team, because of the burst damage. Burst damage is really strong in battle royales. Because you're always looking to drop the player as opposed to kind of like give them a chance to escape.
I've used it a little, but I love my sniper rifles, so I try and pick up a scout or a triple take. I'm figuring out what I prefer in with the snipers, but at the moment I don't think the game is rewarding if you're trying to snipe. I think it's all about the fast action, getting in there. But like if we're fortunate enough to find ourselves where the
Marking
circle
them.
is closing in, and I can get some high ground
It was
opposite
this respawn.
my teammates and spot for them and just get call where people are coming from. And that can be quite useful, but I don't find myself killing many
Shots
people
to the east.
with a sniper rifle. So I try and get like a sniper and an R301, even though like in a lot of cases it kind of sucks with a sniper. I just can't stop
Fucking hell, this place isn't even loaded.
trying to build a nice one. If I find a 4x8x, I get excited, man. I get excited. I can't lie. So
That's like the funny thing too, is that like I find like one of my favorite combos is like the scout and the peacekeeper. It's kind of like this control combo in a way where like the scout is like,
We should go for the res.
or rather the scout is my gun for control. Insofar as when they're at that medium range, I'll probably have like maybe no more than a 3x scope on it, because that's like what feels most comfortable for me to be aiming, and I probably won't be taking a fight with it longer range than that. And then I like, you know, just whittles them down a little bit, maybe pins them down. It like buys time for me if they're like wanting to close a distance and they're getting shot at by the scout and you're peppering them. You kind of like buy yourself some time to figure out like how good the engagement is, your teammates to get into position, and then when you want to like close the distance, maybe you have a Bangalore, maybe you drop a smoke, maybe that allows you to close that distance, slide in there, and like launch the attack. So I like that combo, but I agree with you. The super long range engagements aren't super well rewarded, and it's a mixture of the fact that they don't do quite enough damage, and it's so easy to escape. The movement options are great. So it's I feel like anything more than mid range is not so far from what I've been doing worthwhile. But I do like the scout a lot. It's a really like fun and like easygoing gun. We can see like one of the movement options just there actually. Wraith's portals are like really awesome. Like Wraith is like Wraith Pathfinder are like really nuts when it comes to like being able to move a team around quickly.
They're coming to us.
seems these guys are
Go on the roof.
Get on the
trying
roof.
to preempt a battle,
One's
so
on
let's
the
see what they
roof
do here.
Coming to you.
Downed.
Finished.
Here. He's up high. He's below us. Here on me.
Okay.
Dead. Another one here.
Oh, that was meaty! Oh my god, what a shot from him! This is like a lads team. Team UK.
I need a better backpack. Let me know.
I'm telling you, man, like there's nothing more satisfying than like just hitting that like 100% peacekeeper shot. It just like feels like so satisfying.
Did you guys?
It's delicious.
Did you guys
Just
he has plenty.
that full connection. You know they're weak after once they take one of those shots. Like unless they've got like they're pretty
only
stacked on
X-ray
armor. Like
armor,
they got to be on the run. You know you have the advantage in the fight. Close it down. Yeah, feels good.
9.
I'm not good with
Have you
the peacekeeper.
I'm
just
gonna
yet.
go there.
Yeah,
Sorry.
okay, so that's what you got to
There's a
focus on.
drop.
I'm telling you,
Okay,
man,
I have
your
a
life
micro
will
to call
change in
in,
this
so-
game. It's like it's especially when you get into like
hear
the
shooting.
late game. It is so strong
Which
because
direction?
you pull it out and it's just
Like
it can be a
north,
matter of that just connecting
I
that one shot
believe.
with the peacekeeper, and it's really nice.
That's
And when you get a
really,
choke on it
really
as
far.
well, you can when you hold down the
Don't
ADS.
helmet.
It improves the spread massively, so you can get like
We're
one
kinda
really
open.
really effective sort of guaranteed shot off. If you get time to do that. And it's also a gun where you don't have to ADS it as well when you're using it the majority of the time. Whereas pretty much every other gun that's not a shoddy, except in Mozambique, you need to ADS in this game, which I kind of like actually, because it feels awkward at first to get used to everything, but it gives it more character, I think.
Did you find that you had to put your sensitivity slightly above what it is in CS? Because for me, in CS, my sensitivity is 1.15, but to feel about the same, roughly, I had to put it to 1.3, I think, in Apex. I think
Respawn is
exactly the same, was a little bit smaller
happening
for me.
over here.
So this is actually kind of the cool thing for CS players in a way that like this game is on the source engine, for those of you that don't know. So if you are a CS player coming in, the sensitivity carries across, like it's like the exact same figure. You don't have to like use a converter or anything.
Really?
But yeah, it's a source engine game, which actually surprised me a lot. I was like, wow, source engines 2005 is when it came out.
But is it source 2?
On me.
I don't know if it's source 2. All I am aware of is that it's a source engine game.
He has choke. I don't know.
So that's a really good question. You know, like it could be
Slow,
just that
he's
it's
low,
like
he's low, bud.
obviously like a very
He's
heavily
low.
modified version of the Source engine, but
One inside. One
but yeah.
inside.
So maybe we can get some
Coming to you.
clarification on that. So I saw someone mention in the chat that I think they were talking about cross-platform. There is no cross-platform in this game at the moment, from what I am aware, which I think is probably a good thing right
You're
now.
alone, Carlos.
But,
These guys are
yeah.
in trouble. These guys are in trouble. Two of them are crawling around.
Party turning up.
Oh
One
no!
inside.
Oh,
This is
There's the
a
rip.
problem. Again, only 4 other squads to defeat.
Okay,
Those
just
juicy
get a
10
screenshot
points.
if you can.
Our squad eliminated. That's a wrap.
Yeah,
We
this is
shouldn't
really
be
rough.
We
God
shouldn't
damn.
be losing those, but okay,
that's
let's
like
give it
another
up.
thing about this game, which is really interesting,
I
right?
can do
You
it.
have the respawn mechanic, which you don't have in the other battle royales, and it's super important because in the early game, if you like win an area, like you go to that hot drop in Skulltown, like have crazy fights, maybe just one of you survives, you get like clutch like 1 versus 2, and you kill like 4 squads there, and it's like you feel really rewarded. In another battle royale game, you're like, fuck, well, 2 of my teammates, they just did, you know, this is like the first 2 minutes of the
sir.
game.
Language.
So
It's very poor
I
behavior.
apologize.
Carry on.
So yeah, you're like, oh god damn it! Like I have to, you know, I don't want my friends to like sit there for like the next 20 minutes whilst I play this out. So I'm gonna restart now. So I'm gonna quit the game. And they've solved that because like early game, if you respawn, it's fine. Like you're not gonna get ambushed. You can pick up loot. But late game respawning is like really high risk. You know, you have that drop ship that appears, so it like tells everyone where you're coming from. And it will also you spawn naked, so you got to pick up guns. Everyone's super equipped at the late game. So it doesn't really like impact the late game. It just improves the early game. I feel like that's a genius move from Respawn, honestly, to kind of solve that problem. People just leaving because their squad gets killed, or because, for example, like you have those people that like you get dropped and they just annihilate you on the floor, and then now you're just out of the game. And maybe that team like they go for that kill, and because they don't care, they just want to ruin your team's game, and then they die as well. And then now everyone's game is ruined. So they kind of like solved that with the banners as well. So yeah, I'm so impressed by these mechanics that they put into this game so far. And we're about to see another drop here. Are we staying on Diz, James?
No, I've moved to right now. First place is Treeouts. There's a stream AKZM, which I've just tuned into. There was a guy in chat who said, "Can we see Peter Bread stream?" You didn't spell the stream name correctly, so that kind of makes it hard for me, bro. If you put an actual link in the chat, then I'll open it up for the next game if possible. So be sure to do that. But right now they've quickly gone from 15 squads to 10 squads in the space of both of us talking. This is a very fast moving round, and it seems these guys have got some good tracking, so it might be on for a good performance here. Oh my god, this guy's got like 1 HP.
Oh yeah, this is artillery as well. This is like is this artillery or is this water treatment? I think it's artillery. Yeah, like some of these areas can have like really good like high tier loot, but there's not a huge amount of it, and that can be really annoying sometimes if you like drop with a lot of players there, because you just might not actually just get anything, and it's like such weird long ranges as well. The map design is kind of cool, how some of these areas are like very different from one another, but you can see like all this loot here. It's like really quickly. Although it looks like he's in a bit of trouble here. Are they able to actually? Did they win this area? Is there another squad here? Oh, one thing I have to mention as well, James, that this game absolutely nailed is the sound. Sound is actually really good in this game. I think pretty much all the other battle royales have issues with sound, but this game is like if I hear an enemy, I know exactly where they are. I know where they're coming from. And that feels like a very novel thing, even though we're in 2019. That feels like a novel thing for a battle royale game.
Yeah, the sound is good. I've definitely taken a Counter-Strike approach to this game in terms of use of sound, directional sound, and pinpointing where people are. And it's really cool because I actually recognized some people from the CS community in last week's stream, and I could see the way they were playing. I was like, before I recognized the names, I was like, hold on a second, these are Counter-Strike players. And then I recognized one of their names, and that confirmed it for me. Just a quick note. For those of you who are new to DLive, if you haven't made an account, make sure you do that for watching, because you can be rewarded just by tuning into streams and watching. There is a treasure chest that comes up underneath the player, and that will slowly fill with loot as you're watching. So if it's full up, make sure you click on it and it will start to load again. So make sure you sign up for an account. Also, follow one of the streamers who is participating in the tournament, as you are providing them with a vote. The top 5 most voted teams will be reserved a spot in next week's finals. Also, if you donate to a team, that wins in the tournament, you will be eligible to win up to $1,000 of a separate prize pool for selecting the winning team. So it's not just playing, but by watching, you can take part in this event as well. Down to 8 squads now. Oh my god, that was a nasty shot. Sliding into the DMs with the wingman. This guy's on point. AKZ him. He's got some really nice aim with this wingman. I do wonder if there is a cooldown of accuracy like with the Deagle, for example, because we saw a few instances where he got his first shot off for a good 45, but the rest of the shots missed afterwards. So I don't know if he needs to like take a second before getting his next shot to get it more accurate, or how it works exactly.
Yeah, man. It's like there's a lot of players these days. Like, you know, we're in 2019 that are really, really scary. Like AKZM, I'm like thinking, that makes me think of AKM. Is that AKM? And like AKM is like one of the best Overwatch players from France, and is like the younger brother of like one of the best mechanically gifted players from France, and is incredible himself. And I'm just thinking these days, like there's so many good FPS players just like lurking around, because we have so many games now which have become esports or like have been taken to high levels. It's not just like the high level Quakers or CS players that you have to worry about anymore. Like there's a lot of like really good like high level battle royale players from various games. You've got, you know, Overwatch in there as well. So like you can easily run into these like monstrous people, and you can see like in the right hands, the wingman is just ridiculous. It's the answer for almost every single situation, except maybe super close quarters when only really like the peacekeeper will be better. So yeah, it's really, really scary. But that's something I like about this game too, right? Is that, okay, the wingman can just like melt you, but if you always kind of get a chance to like figure it out, that okay, I'm getting shot down by a wingman here. This is the sound of a wingman. It's really clear. Okay, now this is and I have, you know, these weapons, and this is the terrain. Okay, I know how to like re-engage or disengage, you know, and I know how to like handle this situation. You get options. You don't just get taken down immediately. So that's like a really awesome facet about this game too, is that also like your decision making and positioning and stuff is like heavily rewarded. And also use of grenades, I should say, because the grenades are awesome in this game.
Yeah, I am impressed that I think it's really helpful, the line that basically shows you where you're throwing the grenade, because it makes it, well, I don't know if less random is just not random, I suppose, is the right thing. Like, it goes where you want it to go. And if you're trying to throw something through a window into a house, especially if you caustic, for example, then, you know, that is really important. So again, a lot of things they did right straight off the bat, but the zipline balloons to quickly move to another area, like I'd say, as part of the movement mechanics, it just takes all the tediousness out of battle royales. Running miles, you don't necessarily need to. You've got options like that. You can slide down hills and so on. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on.
Do you have to say, like, as someone who, like, I know that you appreciate Zelda a lot, it actually reminds me of like one thing that they nailed in Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's fun to go up and it's fun to go down. Like in Zelda, like the traversing huge distances, as you say, like the mechanics are great.
Yeah, they really are. By the way, thank you in the chat, all the lemons and ice creams. I see you guys. Appreciated. You're going to make us fat. Dan can take it. He goes to the gym. I signed up for the gym in January and went once. So I guess that makes me like a gym, one of those January gym plebs. But, you know, at least I tried. So
It's always next year.
yeah, it's always next year. Jesus. All right, still five squads left. So you can see he's focusing on where the remainder of the squad are, as opposed to... Oh, there's a caustic on the server, yes!
On me.
Oh, no! The shotgun. Ooh, that's the shield gone. How many are left?
Yeah, AKZM's wingman skills look really, really good. That's like really, really powerful in spots like in games like this, because you can just melt people so fast, because the burst damage is insane. It's hard to like react to it. With something like the SMGs, which have like high DPS, it's hard to like get a pure like connection for like on all the bullets. And so like if you only hit like 50%, okay, you're gonna do a lot of damage, maybe like 80 to 100 damage, and that's like really devastating. But then you have to go for a reload. So your opponent kind of gets a chance to react there and like take cover or whatever. But with a wingman, it's like 45, 45, 45, 45, and he's like, oh, the guy's dead now, and he's don't have that chance to react. So this guy's going to do very, very well, AKZM, for sure, with that wingman skill of his. But looks like we are seeing close to the final circle, 4 squads, not a lot of terrain to be traversed here as well. You gotta be careful those Wraith portals as well. You gotta use those to like move a lot of big distances. You don't really want to be camping outside the exit of one of your portals. I had an opponent do that once, and I just went through a portal and I arrived behind 3 people, all crouched in like a corner, just like exchanging items. Just I dropped a grenade and killed everyone. So you don't want to be one of those guys.
That's awesome. I believe if you put the portal in front of a door and then close the door, if somebody comes through the portal, then they get telefragged, basically. Which is, I think,
Really?
yeah, I saw a video of
wow.
that somewhere. So if it's like, I guess there isn't enough space between the portal and the door for them to stand, so they just die. So you can trap people like that with the portal as well.
I wonder what would happen if you like did like a supply drop of the lifeline and like put the portal exit on where the drop will land, and then so they'll be landing inside of the supply drop or something. I wonder if that's like a thing.
That
Has
would
anyone
be
tried that in
amazing.
chat?
That would
Because
be.
I know that it didn't used to kill you, but I think it like it does now.
Well, these guys are in a big fight. They're in trouble now. See how this goes.
Oh.
I'll raise the team volume for this fight. 3 more teams for them to eliminate. Oh, Skylar's got to, he's got to get a res here.
Why would you try that? What? I got the squad mate.
I have fucking so much gear on my body.
Okay.
Two squads.
Okay, I hope they've got some phoenixes.
Calm down.
Let's get a wingy. Yay.
Yeah. Phoenixes is so awesome.
I'm gonna give this to you. Actually, no, I'm gonna keep it.
Oh, it feels so good when you like get all that gear. You see all these upgrades
Actually, never mind. I got my thing.
for all the armor. Yeah. Gonna have to try to res one of the teammates though. That's always a difficulty late game. When
Yeah,
there's
it's
only
a
like
big
2
bait,
squads
isn't it?
left,
It's like,
sometimes
here we are.
you don't even want to do it. Yeah.
Kill these guys real quick.
I have so much shit on me that I don't need. So hold on.
Yeah, it's a difficult one.
I'm waiting.
I have to see what they opt to go for. Do I see a Mastiff? The Mastiff is obviously very is like so ridiculous.
Yeah, they're coming through.
So
Actually-
ridiculous.
Oh,
I just heard them close.
is there another fight? Okay, I was going to ask about that, but let's see how this goes.
Let them push. Let them push. I want to see if they push.
I kind of started shooting at him already.
See how they've got a bait set up. He's just waiting for them to charge him, because it could suggest that he's alone. Because now there's a question mark with less than 5 squads left. You don't know if there's 2 or 3 players there.
Wait.
So Skylar's trying to put in work. Oh, look at the tags!
Hit twice.
Hello. Knock. One right here. Still. Throwing arc star. Knock. One more. She ulted.
Bang ult.
That wingman doing damage.
Oh my days.
Holy fuck. Let's go. Last one.
I agree with that statement. Jesus.
Here real quick.
He got a lot of tags in there.
Yo, back here. Run. She ulted. Run. Fuck it. That'll work.
Yeah, it's so nasty. Like if you have good tracking aim.
Pretty sure it's a
This is something actually like you're talking about like coming across as a CS player to a game like this. A game like this like really benefits. It feels like weird to say it these days because Quake is not really as much of a thing as it used to be. But one of the things that Quake players are very good at is tracking aim. So your ability to just or hit scan, just like
Get down there.
there's a guy on your screen, you just glue the crosshair to them as they move left and right. And that's like pretty much what you need in this game. Like that's a really big skill in this game. It's not quite as much about the precision aiming as like a game like PUBG might be more of. And that's like where the Counter-Strike players really shine, is that precision aiming. And so that's like one skill set like that this game helps you to practice if you've never really practiced that before, and because you're coming from a game like CS.
These guys are very close to 10 points. I think there's 1 guy left.
Need to reload my weapon.
Let's listen to the progress.
Stand.
Again, this is an example of where didn't make sense to try and rescue their teammate, but just try and fight for the W here. And they're so close to it with this wingman. There it is.
Oh.
Bonus 10 points.
That was a really good game.
They
I had
are.
like 16 kills.
Listen to the satisfaction. That's great.
8, I think. Maybe. I don't know.
Again, they get 1 point per kill, and they get 10 points for winning the match. So I think we'll see how many points they've got, just how many kills they got in the next screen.
29. Let's go.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a 39-point game right there. Screenshot mark. You got it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Got it.
Let's go.
That is huge.
That was big. That was really nice. Like 2,000, 1,500 damage. That's a lot of damage.
That's a big.
A lot of damage.
That's 39 points in 1 game. I'm going back to the leaderboard now. I am going to do a quick refresh just to make sure. Where's my little browser thing? Okay.
That's awesome. Like in this game as well, it can be like difficult sometimes. Again, it comes down to your team being able to close down the frags. So the damage obviously is not always like the best indication of your ability to do that. And because I've had games where where it's been like, oh, collectively we've had like 4,000 damage but got less than 10 kills, and it's like how has that happened? So that's really cool that they're able to just like be so aggressive and just like shut down teams immediately.
Okay, let's go to the current second place. It's a team called Don't Worry. I don't know if that Peter Bread's guy put the correct link in the chat, but I'll keep an eye out for it. So if I've missed it, then please just put it in there again, because obviously we're focusing on the matches. So moving over to the iVebs stream. Right now they are, let's see, they're 4 points. They've got 80 points versus the 84 of Treeouts, and they're about to start the game, so we can take it all the way through with this team and see how they're going.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. Like again, like it's always cool to watch the dropping strategies, and also for you guys watching at home, throw in these guys a follow if you like the gameplay or if you like the way that the stream is set up. You can see that this stream has some fancy graphics on it. It's kind of minimalist. I like those minimalist setups quite a lot. But we'll see what they go for with the drop. So it's like an immediate drop, which is really cool to see. So we might see a lot of action here right from the beginning if there's other teams that have like the same idea as to like how they want to handle this drop. And this area is like a lot of loot to be collected here, and immediately getting some blue armor. But the P2020 so sad. That gun, it's just like the worst. I think it's like worse than the Mozambique for me personally, just because it's at least the Mozambique can do something at close range.
I don't even fire it.
Backpack as well.
Yeah. Yeah, just to concede defeat at that point, or just throw barrels at people instead. It's so good. Go on.
I was just gonna say, like, he does have the R301 as well, which is like most people consider it to be like the best AR with the flat line. But obviously this one uses light ammo, but with all the attachments, it's really good. As you can just see, like just chasing them down, like these poor people. They got nothing to defend themselves.
Ooh, see the splat, the crimson, the tomato juice. Beautiful stuff. Well, that's a solid start, and he just continues to find purple everything, all the purple things, apart from the blue helmet, of course. But I mean, you can't complain at that. It's a bloody good start. It's a great area to control at the beginning. And
yeah,
again,
artillery's a weird one as well, because you do need to like get some good long range weapons, because the problem is that a lot of it, the spots like kind of open and spaced out, even though there's some buildings here. So if you don't get, like as he has here, like a longbow in an R301, and you're up against some wingmans and stuff like that, you can get shot down pretty easily. So it is a great start. You're right.
West, right here.
His teammates not they're rocking the gray, the white armor though, so that's never fun.
Do you ever find it hard when you've got like one of the crappy scopes or like non-scopes like we have here with this longbow to see people? Because sometimes I feel like, I don't know if it's because I'm just used to CS or something, but the model of the gun I feel like sometimes just is kind of obscuring my view a little bit, and I find it hard to track someone because of it. Like right there, it looked easy for him, but for me, the gun's covering half the body, and it's just like, I don't know, you got to look like really sharply to, I feel anyway. Holy crap, can you jump like that? Oh my god, did you see what he just did?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I haven't seen that before.
The climb, the parkour.
Yeah, he opened the door to raise it while he's standing on it to climb up to the top. That's brilliant. And they're getting more kills.
Like people find loads of cool like movement tricks and stuff in this game, like with Pathfinder as well. Like I hope we get to see like a good Pathfinder player, because I don't know if you've experimented with that, but like if you shoot the hook into the ground and jump at the right timing, you basically you can obviously get a lot of speed, but it like flings you really high up, because it's kind of like it swings you. It's really cool.
No, I've only played 2 characters so far. I unlocked Caustic, and I was like, this guy, man, he's talking my kind of game. I feel most alive when I'm rapidly approaching my death. I'm like, yeah, that's the husbando at that point.
Yeah, this is a really solid start. The longbow's pretty cool. The problem I think with some of the sniper, the longbow is nice because it actually does do quite a lot of damage, especially if you get all the attachments on it. You can get that headshot attachment as well on the hop. But so it's like a good good one to like shoot off a shot or two and then like close the distance with whatever else you have. Like the R301's kind of nice because if you're not gonna rock the Peacekeeper, and then for like the ultra close range, high burst damage, R301 has really high. Like if you've got good tracking, it's got really high DPS, and it's very versatile. So the close to medium ranges are actually like it covers that really well too. So this is like a pretty nice combo. Like I agree with you. Like it's a super strong start. And look at this. This is like great team play. Like using the Wraith's portal to kind of plan ahead of time how you're going to manage looting an entire area. And you can see just straight into like the balloon, like zip lining up, and then onto the next area. And that's like really important in a competition like this. Speed is just of the essence, because the faster you can get from area to area, especially as circles are closing in, it's more likely you're going to catch teams still looting, like finding other squads. Like just that speed is like hugely important, and I'm loving that we're seeing like really good speed from this team using Wraith.
Oh, he missed. He landed in the water below me.
If for those of you who are asking about where you can keep an eye on the leaderboard, apex.dlive.tv is where you can see the current leaderboard. It's refreshed in real time. So again, apex.dlive.tv is where the leaderboard is. Very quickly, we've got 10 squads left. This guy was enjoying that. I was about to say, these guys are really calm. I think it's important, especially with 3 people, that you don't panic and you don't like shout comms. Sometimes, especially in North America, people in Counter-Strike will get excited and they'll be like, "There's one over there! There's one over there!" But keeping the calm comms really helps your team as well. Keeps everybody focused, and they're in there for the long haul as well. We've got just over an hour left. So again, having calm comms is good, especially in a high pressure situation.
Yeah, and it's hard sometimes as well, because like sometimes when you go down, you feel like the world is everything's about you, but sometimes you just have to let your teammates like play out the situation. Especially like we're talking about how good sound is in this game. If you're talking over like what is some critical all the sounds, to understand for your teammate where that next enemy's coming from, and you actually block that's like a huge problem. Oh, I love this, by the way, like being able to like get on top. And there's this trick actually to go further with the balloons, where you basically hold like the free look button and look straight into the sky, and you can go further when you zip lining up those balloons. So that's a good use of that trick to like, again, just like be faster, because you got to be fast.
No, it's not. I'm gonna just check market really quick though.
8 squads left.
Someone was here.
All right.
400 people are watching me right now. Oh shit. Sorry.
Yeah, we're watching you loot, buddy. People want to see action.
On DLive's main channel.
We've got bloodthirsty people in the chat who want to see some frags. So let's see what they can do. Thank you for the continual stream of lemons.
Is that a game drop or no?
We should open a fruit stall.
The one over here, yeah.
Yeah, the lemon juice. I actually saw like on the side of the road someone doing that. Just like loads and loads of like oranges. Doing like that old school like orange pop-up stand. Orange juice pop-up stand. I was like, oh my god, this is actually a thing. This still exists.
I saw a lot of those when I was in Fiji, along with bulls walking down the street on their own. Just unsupervised bulls with big ass horns just walking down the road. In fairness, these guys are covering a lot of ground, so it's not like they're trying to just hide in the corner of the map. They're moving pretty quickly through it. The thing is, like, it's not in their interest to just be looting and stuff. They need to get kills. That's how you get points. 1 point per kill, along with the 10 for a win. So it's not, you can't just camp till the end, because as you saw in the previous game, they got 29 kills between them plus the 10 points. So you got to be hungry for the frags, otherwise you're not going to stay up on the leaderboard. So just bear that in mind.
And we talked about as well, like the most important thing in spots like this is like how do you find ways to decrease the variance and in like your objective, and the objective is you mentioned like getting those kills, and we see actually fight like playing out right now. Looks like quick swap of the scope, and it looks like they're dealing with this pretty effectively at the moment. This is like another problem as well. Like these things can really snowball out of control. Like if someone gets the jump on you and like one of your teammates loses all of his armor and health immediately and is out of the fight at the beginning of a fight, that's an enormous problem in this kind of format. So I think in those spots, like you really just have to like fall back and not engage whilst your teammate is like trying to re-up his shields and stuff like that. So you can see that I think this team was actually able to get the drop on another team, and it just like snowballed out of control. Although they're still trying to try to find that team that disengaged. Only like one kill so far. We can't see the whole team kills though. I wonder if that's something that they'll add in at some point, because we can only see like how many kills this player has.
Why is that guy so high?
Yeah, I think because this guy, he's got the longbow out. He's also got the R301, but I guess part of his job's going to be spotting. So
as soon as he gets that fucking thing.
you can see
ambitious.
they're really hungry for the kills. I wonder what that guy's thinking.
He's fucking gone.
It's funny. There's a lot of clickbait videos on YouTube about Apex Legends. It's a new game, so there's all these videos of like, check out all this cool stuff, and it's just like the manual, page 5 or something. But there was an interesting video which I watched yesterday that had a lot of actually useful tips and trips. Like if you're on a zip line and you jump and then turn the other way and grab onto the zip line again, then you'll go in the opposite direction on the zip line, regardless of the incline of the zip line and so on. And like climbing onto an open door and then climbing onto the roof of a building, things that I never actually considered. So it was really useful to watch that.
Definitely should have kept Dizzy's thing.
I'll link it on Twitter at some point if anybody's interested in seeing it, but it certainly helps me.
Dizzy's thing is just like...
Yeah, there's like loads of really cool tips and tricks there. And I wonder actually, like, again, there's so much room to grow for this game. Respawn have just started with like the basics, which is really cool. Like, they got a strong foundation, and there's loads of cool stuff they could easily add to this game. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what that development looks like. You talked earlier about the visibility. Like, is it hard to track? You know, that was like one of your questions when you're like using the ADS. And visibility, you know, has been a complaint for some people, and it is something that they said that they're going to be working on in future patches, which is great. You know, visibility and performance, like two of some of the most important things for gameplay. So that's they've been awesome so far. Respawn, like really great developers. Obviously, lesser like producing the lesser known, but also very good game, which is Titanfall 2. That game is really cool, and it didn't really get the attention it deserved. So I hope that's an offshoot of the success here. People are like, oh, you know, what else have these guys done with the popularity that comes here? But yeah, so we're seeing like you know, a lot of movement here once again, just trying to get to the next fight, to the next squad. Only 5 squads remaining to frag out with, and the circle's getting smaller and smaller. So again, like, you know, that's battle royales for you. Sometimes you just get really unlucky with the engagements. Tossing out the arc star, the nades, the smokes. Looking to find the engagements. You can see all that, like, just trying to control space with the like decreasing visibility. And they don't have like a bloodhound or anything to really see through all of that. So that can be pretty powerful at closing distance or allowing yourself to disengage.
One thing that's interesting, well, with visibility, yeah, for me, the main thing is, like, if you have a close to medium range battle with a scope, I think that the visibility is not ideal. But also, if there's multiple caustics, let's say you have one on your team, there's nothing to indicate if, like, some noxious gas is from your team or from somebody else. So you could run into it thinking that you can hide in it and it's your teammates. It will slow you down, but it won't hurt you. But if it could be in other teams, and you can't really tell the difference. So it would be useful if there was something for that. Ooh, that was quite a 2-shot with the wingman. There's a lot of action going on here. We're down to the last 4 squads, so now we're seeing the war of attrition. I think it's at this point, they can see there's 11 people left. I think it's worth going for a rescue of their teammate if they can secure an area to do it. Otherwise, can't really do it with all this action going on.
They're in the house.
Yeah, I think another squad like jumped them as they were finishing off that last one, and the circle's coming in as well. They're like on the edge of the circle. They have to take down another squad, 2 versus 3 presumably, and you can see that, as you say, like good wingman action, but only a blue armor, and already it's like been just melted here by a multitude of opponents and dropping into the circle. Oh, we find a little gap there just to chill with, but his teammate, whilst he's getting his shields up, can't really do too much to help out. So this is getting pretty scary at this point. Trying to like fight on the edge of the circle here again, like trying to melt them with that R301 again. The really high DPS out of the high rate of fire from that weapon. He's got some of the attachments, not everyone so far, and he can't really use the airstrike for anything, and it's not really an ability that would be helpful here. And I think the smoke is up though, so that is something that they could try to use to their advantage. See just like such an extended period here in which they're fighting, and eventually someone's going to run out of shields, and I don't know how lucky it is that they'll be able to get their teammates' banner. There's so few squads left at this point. They may just have to like make this work with 2 as they just continue this just like horribly crazy fight. And now he's alone. Can he save the day? Can he go clutch? Smoke's out. Has to try to back away here. Oh god, it's so scary. There's the airstrike now as well. There's all kinds of crap happening here with all of these ultimates like going off, and he goes for the revive. Bold move, but is it going to pay off?
Probably dip and try to get to a respawn beacon.
Is there a Phoenix?
I'm popping a Phoenix.
There we go. There's one Phoenix.
Just head glitch. Pushing.
Oh, that's awkward. What I find annoying at the moment, actually I'll talk about it after this battle. Let's see what happens here. Down to the last 4 squads. His teammates on the floor once again. Bish bash, but no bosh. Still standing, trying to escape. Doors opening, doors closing. And that's going to be a wrap for this team.
Oh my god.
That's unlucky.
That was so close. That was so close.
My ass.
I respect the move as well. That's like that situation at the end is like that classic situation. Like you get caught trying to get the health up, and he had a really good tracking with the R301. Did enough damage to like send the other guy backwards, which tells him like, okay, I could try to heal here, but I needed the Phoenix. That's going to take longer. Do I just try to finish him off, try to hit that one shot? Because I think he's really weak right now. Or do I try to stay here for the heal? And he went for the glory. He went for the clutch. And it didn't work out, unfortunately, for him. So I love the clutch moments in this game. It's so rewarding, so fun.
Okay, so looking at the leaderboard, 5th place at the moment, TA is a team. They did pretty good yesterday as well, Vaxlon and co. So they're in the lobby at the moment. It doesn't look like everybody is ready, so maybe we'll look at another one. But Cute Boys are still in the lead. They've made it to 130 points now. So let's see. Wingmen. We've got Wingmen. That sounds like a good stream to watch. Wingmen Schmoose in 2nd place. So we'll have a look at that, and then I think after that we'll try to tune into the Vaxlon stream, because they were good last week, and it's nice to see the same people again. Oh, I'm not spelling this correctly. There's no C there. Hello everyone, by the way. Shout outs to the old guys in the stream chat, the guys and the girls. Thank you for the lemons once again. Okay, so Schmoose is in the last. He's in the last 5 teams, so we should see some good action.
Can me? Wait, I'm gonna let him get his boy. I'm gonna let him.
Yeah. It's the smokes get dropped here. Oh, he's actually gonna drop on them whilst they're trying to get a revival off. That's actually really nice with that wingman. Again, like so much damage in pretty much any situation, any range. And his teammates aren't quite with him as well, but they're close enough that they could give him some assistance here, trying to finish off the remainder of this team that's like in the smoke, trying to get those revives off. And now here comes the team from the back, and you can see again like how you can just use this wingman at pretty much any range, although some of the shots aren't connecting. One thing that's really interesting to me is that also like what are like the preferable scopes that people pick for various guns, like the wingman specifically. This is actually my preferred scope as well. Like the dot, I think is really nice. But looks like he's Schmoose is pretty geared up, and his team, like they all have purple armor. They're in a pretty good spot.
There are people in chat threatening to give people 10,000 Lino points. Put your money where your mouth is, buddy. If you're not familiar with the Lino points, it is a blockchain system, a blockchain platform which DLive runs on top of, and there's lots of information available on the DLive website about that. So look it up.
He's like, Billy, are you dropping?
Come on, show me a headshot. Give him a headshot.
This boy's dropped.
These guys are trolling.
That's beautiful discipline. He's just like, even though that would have been, so that's like some battle royale experience right there. Even though he could have just taken that guy down. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna get the sure thing. I'm gonna get my teammates in here, and then that way, look, he's got more bullets. He's not gonna be caught on a reload. A second guy comes in, he's able to do the damage, and then he has full bullets ready to calmly deal with the guy behind him. Could have absolutely annihilated that guy, but he actually had the discipline to play the team play correctly. That's actually awesome to watch. These guys are serious. Schmoose, he's got some plays.
Yeah, I'm impressed. They were like, is it killer whales who would grab a seal and just start like launching it into the air for fun before killing it and eating it? That was basically, that's how I felt. That's what I felt I was witnessing right now. So I can.
And there's only one squad left too.
I wonder if they'll go towards the supply drop, because I mean that can be taken as a bait that late, but it seems they've spotted someone. Okay, he's saying he saw one, but how do you know? You don't know if there's one or more, but I guess I'll quickly find out. Purple boxes all over the place. Look at these guys, they're trolls.
No, it's just one dude, and you are the champion.
This team is confident. I am very
Yeah,
interested
yeah.
in watching this team. The way they just like observe people like that. That's absolutely savage.
7 or 6.
Yeah. No, it's really cool to see, just specifically because, I mean, we can see the damages. Like, everyone getting 1,500 or above is actually enormous. That's actually really nuts to see that. That means that not only are they, like, all able to find an enormous amount of fights, they're able to all close it down. And, like, this is, like, a really skilled team clearly. I love the team play there. Like, that's, like, the thing that struck me more than their individual skill, which is obviously also very good. You could just see it in like, the tracking aim there on the fights. So, coordinated team that's got good communication, hits their shots. This is definitely a team to watch out for as we have like an hour left or so.
Yeah, I think we should
in this competition.
I think we should stick with this team for now because I haven't seen anything like that in this week or last week. I have not seen that kind of play where they just have like a baby deer in their mouth and it's like the deer's like, "Oh, you my daddy," and then they just kill it. That's basically what we're seeing in that game. So I need to see more of this. I need to see more of this.
Yeah, so I just refreshed the leaderboard as well, and you know, Schmoose with Wingman is at the top of the leaderboard by actually a pretty big margin now.
Oh, really?
By about just over 25 points or so. Total team kills 113. Total team wins 4. Second to them at the moment is Gamers 666, and they have 91 team kills and 3 team wins total. So Schmooses, they're starting to pull away from the pack here in a good way. So we'll see what we'll try to like really like dissect exactly what their approach is. The Bangalore Wraith, and we're gonna get Lifeline as well. Lifeline's kind of nice because it obviously gives you the healing options. Lifeline has a hard hitbox, one of the harder hitboxes to connect with, as well as having that kind of guaranteed supply drop. So you kind of guarantee yourself some of the defensive items, whether it be scopes, armors, healing items, whatever it is. That's like really reliable. And so if you're a team that's covering a lot of distance and getting a lot of kills, you're gonna get a lot of ultimate accelerants, which means a lot of supply drops from that lifeline. So, and obviously the Wraith allows really fast movement between different areas, a really good get out of jail, a free card with that escape mechanic, as well as the warning system as the passive, and Bangalore with the smokes to close distances or disengage. And obviously the airstrike as well is amazing, because if a team is like bunkered down in a position that's strong, just drop the airstrike on them, they have to reposition. So really cool team comp, not running a Bloodhound or anything like we see a lot of teams to try to counter the smokes and gas and so on and so forth. So, and where are they going here? So they're going for, what is this, Cascades or Bridges?
I think one team might
This
be above us. I think one
is-
team's landing desert side.
I'm still like wrapping my head around it. So this is Cascades, so I was right the first time. So this is Cascades. We talked about this earlier. This is like a good spot to go for the initial drop, because you can get a lot of fights early on, but it's not something that you kind of can't handle. And already getting a wingman, I think we're confident Schmoose is they're probably gonna win this area.
Best of the Worst says, "Hey, could you turn this down? My wife just complained about how loud it is." Well, she needs to play Apex, bro. I don't know what else to tell you, but I mean, we can have a quick conversation if you pass the phone number. But pull up a chair, she can join in as well. We can have a chat with her if she wants. Give her the keyboard.
Oh fuck! One here.
So already we're seeing again like the power of the wingman. He gets a scope as well for it immediately. So just like you see how like the difference made. None of them have armors on Schmoose's team here, but for the team wingmen, appropriately named, aptly named, and it looks like they've probably most likely won this area already. It's obviously so early that other teams are still looting their initial drop spots, and they've already killed a team. So and we've seen that this is a team that moves quickly, kills quickly, does a lot of damage. They want to be moving on as quickly as possible. They've got good looting patterns as well. Obviously not all dropping in the same place. That's something that, again, like if you guys are playing with your some teammates and you get some drop spots, you got to find a way to like loot have looting patterns so that you spend as little time in an area, but you loot it as most effectively as you can. So that's something that you can follow Schmoose's channel, and you can like look at the mini map and just see how they move around, and you can figure out like how some of the good players do it, and you can replicate that with your teammates as well.
Again, for people who want to know where you can find the leaderboard, it is apex.dlive.tv. Apex.dlive.tv is where you can find the leaderboard. Eviscerel, we see you in the chat complaining. Whiny bitches are welcome as well. Stay a while and listen. Don't forget to click the treasure chest under the player. 13 squads left already. This is a very fast-moving game, but I don't know how many of these kills this team have got. So they're running out of people to frag at the moment, but of course there are those juicy points at the top to win for taking the W as well.
Yeah, so they're on the backside of the bunker, and this is kind of a cool timing because if the front of the bunker is like an area which does have a lot of loot as well, so you can definitely catch squads here. It's like kind of a popular spot to be dropping around the bunker, and you can see like quickly checking, are there doors open? Is this area looted? They can see everything's been looted here, and this is like their next spot to try to loot. And they do have one squad kill already, so that between them they have 3 kills already in the first, like 5 minutes. So it's not the worst pace ever. They just have to try to find that next engage. And they have purple armor and 2 blues already. That's not bad. That's not bad considering they've only looted 1 area so far, honestly. Pieman and Tipsy. These guys have great names. Schmoose, Pieman, and Tipsy. I respect it.
I like Pieman. I'm a big fan of pies. I think you have to be if you're from the UK.
Already getting involved.
Lemons and we got diamonds in the chat now as well. Marvelous. All right, 12 squads left. These guys have got to get some kills soon. Again, they're running towards the action. Maybe they just dropped in the wrong place. But they are en route.
And I believe they used an opponent's race portal there to close the distance, and they're going to find a squad just having fresh off a fight, it looks like. So this is like a perfect opportunity to get that damage in. You can see that the armors are not fully up there for the opponents, and it's going in with the wingman again. Doesn't need anything else. He's got a Mozambique for his sidearm, but doesn't even care about it. Just tells you pretty much like how confident they are with the wingman, and they're all just like beasting with the wingmans only. So they just annihilated the squad, James, just by walking with wingmans. You gotta respect
it. This is Team Wingmen. This is literally, that's the name of the team.
Yeah.
They know what they need to do to win. That first engagement there after going through the Wraith that we saw on this POV, on Schmoose POV, I just saw 4 tags from 4 shots with the wingman, so it seems he's got his pacing on point. That was really nice to see. And now we're starting to get the frags. He's got 2. I don't know how many his teammates have got, but we can see there are 10 squads remaining. So 30 people, that's half the server, so there's still a bunch of frags to be had. And of course, that all-important 10 points at the top.
Yeah, so interestingly, so there's a team that has, I just refreshed, that is above them now by 13 points. But already we know that wingmen have 6 kills, presumably, because they've killed 2 squads. And so that's 6 points. And if they get the win here, they'll be able to catch up. So Cheeks Clenched, which is the team that is in the lead at the moment. If they have a good opportunity to actually stay in the lead, if this round somehow isn't a win for wingmen, but I'm pretty confident they're going to win this round, and it seems like we're sticking with them to see how they accomplish that. They've already found another fight moving forwards, so let's see if they can close it down easily here.
Cheeks Clenched did really well last week. It has to be said. They were one of the teams who are at the top of or near the top of the table for for pretty much 4 hours. You can see these guys are annoyed at the avoidance of the battles here. They want to fight with these wingmen. This is ridiculous. It really feels like they've gone Deagle only or something. It's quite fun to watch, but again, they're hungry for the kills. They're not impressed by the smokes, and they're wiping people out.
Yeah, like the problem I think with the wingman again is burst damage. So if you think if there's any PUBG players, for example, to speak to some of you guys, PUBG like one of the most popular weapons has been the Kar 98. And it's because if you have good aim, that burst damage makes a difference, because as soon as if you receive one of those shots, it's huge damage and it's very difficult to suddenly react. You're in a bad position straight away almost. You've got to take cover, you've got to heal up straight away, which allows the other team all the options, aggressively or not aggressively. So the wingman's very similar. So if you've got 3 guys who have that high level, semi-pro / pro aim with the wingman, just bearing down on you, the burst damage is ridiculous. And so that is the style that they're playing with, and it's obviously working out here. They can just push. Doesn't matter what's going on. So we're also getting these escape options with the portals, which are really nice. Just putting down the portals all the time.
Yeah, he's just they're following the gunfire at the moment.
We need to get involved, pop off, get this dub, and get moving.
As you heard the man, get involved, pop off, get the W, and get moving. So again, every team is hungry for the frags, and look how many they are very aware of how many frags that they're not getting right now. Just trying to get there as fast as possible. So I did say Vax on stream after, but I think once this is done, we'll have a look at the leaderboard and then go to the Cheeks Clenched stream, because again, it's nice to see them rocket up the table. They were very active last week, and I'm curious to see how they're doing. So we'll get back to them. There was one team last week where they started an hour late because one of the 3 guys was asleep. He slept through, and the guy was just tuned into my broadcast. So I tuned into him, tuned into me. It was quite fun, but maybe we'll see some of them later. But we will go towards Cheeks Clenched a bit later on. But now we're down to 4 squads left. I don't think these guys will be satisfied with the kills. They're probably going to lose the lead. All things.
Look
I
at
mean,
how big the zone is, dude.
like even when they put the results in, I think they're going to probably lose the lead because they're not going to get enough kills. In a lot of games, I think the good games we're seeing just shy of 30 kills. This might be 20 or even below the way things have been going. Only 2 kills for Schmoose here. So, and again, they're complaining about the size. They know time is of the essence. We're already in the last hour of today. So it's really important they just find people to shoot very soon.
Yeah. So that's like the thing is that they started with more total team wins. They like when I refreshed the leaderboard to see Cheeks Clenched ahead of them by 13 points, that means that Cheeks Clenched was then starting their next game, which would be that's where like we're already almost at the end of that game for Wingman. Like they're a game ahead effectively. So if they win this game, they should, even if they don't get any more, well, obviously they should get at least another squad kill, presumably. That should be enough to like the points here for this time around, and the win so much, and we see this like super aggressive play style. The wingmen, they're like so versatile, so strong. Peacekeeper wingman, that's the future in this. Well, that's what the reality is. That's matter in this game.
Yeah. So we can do that. Let's see how this one finishes up, and then we'll go to Team Thumbless after this and see how the Xbox games are doing. I cannot imagine playing an FPS on a console.
Yeah.
If there are any guys who play console FPS, where I'd be doing it. So I'll be a good boy to avoid that at least.
Yeah, it's hard for me to imagine too. I've never owned a console or Switch, and I've been playing.
And shooter based in like ancient Egypt, which was really cool actually. Just the style of it I thought was amazing at the time. So I thoroughly enjoyed that, but apart from that, PC Master Race all day. I see Enforcer J in the chat saying that he plays Apex on Xbox. Candy Ring X plays on Xbox and PlayStation. You guys are crazy, man. You guys are crazy.
Crazy.
PC, please, see if you play. I beg you.
That wingman, man, is just so satisfying. Just connecting those shots. I mean, Team Wingman, we're getting the wingmans. That's for sure. They're delivering on that. And this is the last final fight. Trying to find that. Oh no, actually no. Sorry, there's 2 more squads left. But maybe the last one will try to ambush. Ooh, Schmoose is in some trouble. He has to pull out the Peacekeeper, and they're closing the distance here. And that's like you can see the Peacekeeper is unreliable sometimes. Like you'll get what looks to be like a connection, but some of those pellets will miss. Like the spread is variable. It's a random spread. It's not fixed. So that damage is sometimes going to betray you. It's like the Max 7 in Counter-Strike sometimes, James.
All right. What have we got left? 2 squads left. All right then. So it's just them and the enemy. Is it 3 people?
Covering this archway.
Man, things like Phoenix kits is just so good. Like it has the right risk reward, like how long it takes to boot up, if you will. I just like a lot of this game. Like a lot of things I think are awesome.
They were in cave. I seen one in cave.
this case.
Yeah, I agree. They're just raw enough. It takes just long enough. It doesn't feel like it's out of place in any sense.
Poor bastards didn't even know
There's more
what
points about like what this game does right, which I could talk about. I did a podcast about it very quickly when the game came out, but they're looking for the last final fight here. There's a supply drop. At this point, the only reason you may want to go for it is if you think the opponents might be going for it, because I mean, unless like maybe you pick up a Mastiff or something like that, but it's not really gonna improve your chances to win the fight here. And you can see they're desperately sliding their way towards where they think the other squad might be, towards that white circle, in towards where that supply drop is going. And those supply drops, you can pick up a Kraber. Have you played the Kraber yet, James?
I have played the Kraber, but I feel like it's not worth picking up if I have a different sniper rifle, because I know it does.
Really?
I know it does colossal damage, but I feel like I think it's a late game weapon, and I feel like in the late game, if you're long distance, it's hard to hit somebody with it. If you're close distance, it has such a massive cooldown with the reload and things like that. I just feel like you could put yourself in a better situation with a faster firing gun. I feel like you leave yourself very exposed with it. So in my experience of it so far, which isn't comprehensive, I will say, I am not enjoying my experiences with it. I feel like if I drop like a longbow or something, I don't think the payoff situationally has been worth it. I think maybe there are some situations where there's an argument for me to pick it up, but I feel like I think I need more time to figure out like if it's worth the risk, because to me it's a risk. The Mastiff, I would say, is just monstrous, and I love the Mastiff, but the Kraber I'm not so sure about right now.
So the Kraber does 125 damage on a body shot, which is pretty nuts, and it does 250 damage on a headshot. Obviously, you don't think about headshots as much. I think in this game, it's a bit harder to connect those at distance, but 125 body shot is pretty nuts. Like if you're able to like connect that and then push the team, there's already one guy that's just got to refill his like, because they can't fight for like 5 seconds whilst he refills his shields. I personally am a big fan of it, but I also personally don't use any sniper all that much, except maybe a scout, seldomly a longbow, because I mostly go peacekeeper wingman. So maybe I'm not the one to talk.
Yeah, I think that I need to spend some more time with it to make sure I'm using it as efficiently as possible to hit people, you know? To make sure it's not just me being bad or something, so I need to get there with it. Okay, they've dropped one player already. So let's see what I can do. You notice, obviously, with the format of this tournament, they're not focusing on the supply drops with the late game upgrades that you saw, maybe some gold bits and bobs. They're just focusing on the frags, focusing on the wins, and that's another W in the bag for this team.
Really good for us.
So let's have a look at the... Oh, so they got 21 frags out of that.
21 squad kills, yeah.
That's not bad. We didn't see a lot of them from our perspective, so I mean, we can't predict the future in that respect, right? Such is life. But 21 frags will keep them in the right direction. We see Noble Esports. We've got an esports team now up in second place. Now let me see. Where is this console team that somebody mentions? There's a team called Use the Wingman before it was cool in 13th place. There's a
yeah, that does that win will put them with all the frags and everything about like almost 20 points ahead of Cheeks Clenched. So Cheeks Clenched, they can catch up, but they have to have they got to speed things up quite considerably. So
yeah,
so it's still a pretty good look for Team Wingmen.
Okay, so we had a request to see the console players, and they've got some viewers actually, so let's tune in. They've got 7 squads left, so they're in 22nd place. Oh no, it's just updated. They are in, where is this? They're in 24th place right now, so you can get a link from there. It's Gaga, basically, like Lady Gaga. So let's have a look and see how these guys are doing. Dude, check out that guy's face. He's got a superhero face. He should be like in a Marvel movie or something.
Yeah, look. That's right. Has a strong jaw.
That is the most
should be a boxer.
Chiseled face of a gamer I've ever seen.
All right, it could definitely get his Clark Kent on. That's for sure. But will it translate here into Apex Legends? So this is console, is it right, James?
Yeah, apparently this is console. These guys are Xbox plebs.
Thumbless aimbot, thumbless stick. Interesting. Okay, so this would be like really curious to me because I don't tend to watch the like how the performance looks like when it comes to and the gameplay when it comes to console FPS players, especially in a game which I've played a lot on PC. Because usually there's kind of that separation, isn't there? Like if it's like a COD or a Halo, okay, there's PC versions of that, but I have not really dabbled in it and then watched console players. But this game obviously I've played lots on the PC, so it's gonna be interesting to see how it works.
Zone shot in Clove.
Do you get like the aim assist and stuff like that? You know, or how does that work?
That is shot in Cave.
Yeah, guys, tell us for the console players who are in the chat, do you get like an aim assist in this game? I know some games do, so let me know. I think they're supposed to have DLive in their usernames though, or maybe they can't do it on console. I'm not sure, but that might be an issue for them. So maybe the guys can let us know about that. I believe DLive are 4 followers away from 6,000 followers on Twitter. So official DLive, make sure you're following that on Twitter if you're not doing that already.
Wow. There's no way I'm ever doing that if I pick up a controller, ever. There's no way that's happening. That was awesome. Just glide into the 180 and using Bloodhound to like track the opposition. Bloodhound's a lot of fun. You often can use Bloodhound to like, obviously, Bloodhound will show you where people are bleeding from. Or like, you know, show you blood tracks. So if someone's hurt and like often, you know, you'll find like a reviving player at the end of that. And so you can just get an easy kill, find out where they're hiding. It's really satisfying. But it's looking like really, I'm already impressed by the tracking and the aim, honestly, James. I gotta say, with the consoles, I didn't think that it was possible. But it is with the console.
I wonder if he's using a stock controller, if he's got one of the specialist gamer ones. I would assume the latter. So one person in the chat said the aim assist is very small. Other people are saying there's no aim assist. And it seems that these guys are prolific console FPS players. So that's the thing. Obviously, the skill ceiling isn't comparable to a PC, but there is still a skill ceiling and it can be high. So if I went up against these guys, I'd probably get completely annihilated.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see also like the weapon choices. Obviously with PC, one thing that you can do is like that's obviously you can't really do with the controller is like the instant flicks, like the flick aiming, and so when you have like burst damage guns where like the first shot counts, like let's say a wingman, you could definitely see why there would be some advantages to use a mouse there, and so we're seeing that we have the rifle combo, and I mentioned this previously. The two like highest tier or what are to be considered the highest tier rifle ARs, assault rifles in this game is Spitfire and R301, and we see that both of those are being rocked right now by Gaga. So and also the tracking looks really smooth at distance. I'm curious how some of the closer range fights will look with the rifle setup, but
dude, I want a face like his face, man. I want these kind of side things
you're
going
just staring at it.
I gotta stop eating pizzas. I need to get back. I need to go to the gym for the second time since January, man. I've never seen a gamer with a chisel face like that. Honestly, that's ridiculous. That's crazy.
Where did that one person go?
Where is he? Is he English? Are these guys from Europe? I can't quite tell just yet. I haven't spoken too much. There's a lot less chatter in this team than in other teams. He's got 7 frags. He's got the Spitfire and the R301. 2 squads left, and you can see again they're just hunting. Like so, whereas people who aren't playing in this tournament will just be playing a normal game. These guys are bloodthirsty, so there's a lot of hunting going on while people are maybe looting or just posting up somewhere, waiting for the action to come to them.
Yeah, and it's interesting actually because I can see some of the arguments why some teams wouldn't have bloodhounds. Obviously, we're seeing a bloodhound here. We haven't seen too many from some of the top teams, and it's perhaps partly because you're just going so aggressive into areas and playing off of like gunfire and moving around so quickly. You're often going to be getting the information you need because you hear it. You hear the shots going off in the distance. You know they're so good at moving quickly to find those engagements in those areas, and so you don't necessarily need some of Bloodhound's abilities. And maybe you favor, like as we said before, Lifeline's consistency and having, or the consistency of the drops that you get from Lifeline, and because you move quickly, you have all the drops in the world because of the ultimate accelerants you'll find, and you know you want that Bangalore for the escape options and the airstrikes as well if like a team is dug in, and we saw the Wraith used as well to like give escape options, obviously good escape options as well. So it's interesting like how in this game as well there's like not a clear composition. A lot of people there's like lots of different takes, and the fact that we haven't seen a Pathfinder yet, I'm pretty surprised, honestly. I would expect to see Pathfinder more on the PC just because it's probably easier to do some of the movement tricks.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Where the Pathfinder at?
So this guy's from the UK, and his teammates Stick and Aimbot are from the US. The power of the internet, eh? They don't really talk much, but again, they haven't really found anyone either, so...
Where is he?
And you've got to be feeling the pressure. I haven't heard his teammates talk to him at all.
He's been popping pieces of hunts pretty much as he can to just find any sign. Obviously, it makes it a lot easier to spot stuff, whether that be tracks or using the kind of thermal vision.
Yeah, you've got to feel like as the player.
Last squad like hiding.
See, you can see the frustration coming out. This is wasting loads of their time. Loads of their time. They could be anywhere.
So this is only going to be like a 19 kill game. It's not enough.
Yeah, you can hear him. He knows it's not enough. Other people are getting like 29 kills. So these guys are hungry for the W's. And this is the thing. But this is why I think it's this is, again, I keep rabbiting on, this is a good difference to last week, where I feel like in situations like this, the 5 points arguably wasn't worth it. If you just have a team who are hiding and they could be anywhere, especially because if you look at the circle, it's a really big circle right now, all things considered. For only 2 teams, that's a big circle.
Yeah. So
this is wasting loads of time for them. But it can be worth it for the 10 points, especially if they've got less than 20 kills. These guys could be running around for a while.
Incredibly frustrating game.
Yeah, and they likely have probably at least 20 at this point. And there's a supply drop here, so they're going to the supply drop in desperate hope that the other team might be going for it as well. But also, guys, drop Team Finalists, drop Gaga like a follow on DLive. If you're looking for that console hero, you play Apex Legends on console, it's fun to watch Shroud Beast people on the PC, but you want someone that actually that shows you gameplay that you can replicate on a console, and this is definitely a great stream to follow and to check out.
Yeah, I think we're going to jump out of this because unfortunately it seems that their opponent, it could just be one person. Oh, have they found him?
It's gonna be like,
okay, it seems they found where he is, but it's funny, there's no comms between this team, but they're still winning loads of games. I find it amusing. Okay, there's one, but where's the rest of them? Are there 2 left, or is there 1 left? Okay, we've got some fire. So these guys have been camping. They've been camping on the skeleton. But is it 1 or is it 2? Oh, he's going for it with the Spitfire. This would be nasty. You can see the guy's called a supply drop, maybe for protection. There's 2 of them up there. After all this hunting, he's crawling now. If they lose, if they don't get these 10 points, okay. I wanted to see his face. He would have been surely massively annoyed. They got there in the end, though. All right.
He's getting the ice creams. That's good.
Get the ice creams out.
He deserves it. He looks so frustrated.
Yeah, that's got to be really annoying. All right, going over to the leaderboard, we'll scroll back up again. And Cheeks Clench is still up there in first place, so I think it's time to go over and check out the Cheeks Clench stream. Again, they were here last week and they did pretty good. So let's tune in and see how they are doing.
All right, so got that classic minimalist stream overlay.
Stream overlay nerd.
Yeah, I always check it out, and especially again, if you guys are new to the platform and you want to check it out, this platform rewards the creators enormously. They get all of the revenues if you really get to support them, and you also get a part of the action as well. With those treasure chests as well, you get rewarded for viewing. So yeah, always on the lookout for good-looking streams. And here it is, Wingman in action once again. And Cheeks Clench is pushing hard. I love that this is fighting in this area.
This guy has his game volume a bit lower than other streams, FYI. So it might sound a bit quieter, but it's on his end in that respect. So now we've got a completely different level of communication. These guys, a lot of talking. I'm going to leave it to these guys to chat for us for a little while.
Nice. More nades, more nades. From north?
In the cave.
Oh, these are the Counter-Strike players. Stronglegs is a guy, I think he's like a commentator in North America or something. He's the guy that I recognized from last week. That's why it rings a bell. So these are the CS players. So you'll hear the CS communication and so on from them.
Good shit, bro. Good fucking shit. Let's go.
loot these guys. These guys have some good stuff.
I need to get shields. They could be third party and late. Just be careful. They're together.
For sure.
Where's that?
The lifeline care package south. It's one of the 2 squads. We might as well go for that. So
Yeah,
we know what
let's
they
go.
are.
Let's go.
Go. I'm ready.
I'm gonna pop you guys a portal.
Oh, that's over there. Oh shoot.
Yeah, I'm right behind you, Roy. Coming.
I wonder if it's because it's console. Maybe there aren't enough buttons for the comms and everything else. Although, I mean, the guy we were watching was asking for information and they just weren't replying, but they're still winning matches anyway, which is really amusing. But again, he's hungry for the W. Yeah, these are some NA guys, some CS teams. And again, you can hear the frustration already. The circle is so big, considering the amount of squads that are left, and time is of the essence. Again, we're down to the last 29 minutes now.
Actually, below that.
Definitely below. How many?
Yeah, and it's one thing, like there's various strategies maybe you could try to employ. I don't know if like just firing a gun into the air is one of them to try to attract people who might actually be interested in fighting. Obviously it depends. You know, some of these teams will be so individually skilled that across the entire team that it can maybe even be worth it to try to do that, because even if they know where you're coming from, you can just rely on just out aiming, out skilling, out fighting them. Either way, we will see a quick engagement here in one of the 2 remaining squads. Out comes the wingman, and there are some nice connections, finishing it off with the 301.
Ooh, I think you are about 10 seconds ahead of me somehow.
Oh shit!
You're
Spoilers.
cheating.
Oh god, language. Oh my god, everything's going wrong.
Can't take you anywhere, Dan.
Oh man, I mean, I've been streaming too much myself lately. I'm not used to the language restrictions again.
It's because okay, yeah.
Sure.
The Queen's English has gone. You've been in America for too long.
That's true. It's true. I've become very, very rough around the edges in recent times. Moving to America, no,
It's
none of those
everywhere.
British sensibilities have all left me.
Shoot, they will come.
Okay, they're down to the last 2 squads now. Cheeks clenched.
It's a quote from.
Yes.
There are so many gifs in the chat. I didn't see all these gifs last week.
They will come.
I like the Mike Tyson gif.
I get that reference. I get that.
Yeah, that's a
He's
good
awesome.
Purple armor.
Man, not bad. Like,
Most of the time. All right. Again, it's still a big circle, so these guys might struggle to find the last team for a while. I do wonder if the Xbox team. Oh no, we watched that, didn't we? We saw them finish that off. I forgot. It took so long.
Yeah.
Well, these guys have got some solid armor, double purple and a gold.
They're shooting
shooting
me.
at you, yeah.
So they're pretty much tooled up. I think they know where the other guys are now. So
Yeah, that's what they're going for. They hit the fighting now as well.
He hit me.
I'll try to
That's gonna suck.
not throw out the spoilers, but yeah, I think I'm still probably a little bit ahead of you.
yeah, it buffered once or twice for me, but it's smooth now. So
Plus on you, bro.
okay, we've got the wingman putting in work. Strong legs with the 2K.
Last guy went behind.
That means there's only one guy left, unless they're hacking, obviously.
Mark starring.
So I think we're going to see a lot of wingman today. We're seeing it a lot now. It's 3 versus 1. Surely it's a matter of time. We've got the ninja stars coming out.
I made a thing.
They're calling him out as they frag him as well.
You can make these.
All right, so that's another win in the bag for these guys.
Huge, bro. Huge.
All right, we'll go back to the leaderboard and see how things are doing. That's another win in the bag. So while we see wingmen in first place, I'm sure Cheeks Clenched are about to overtake them. Now, I think we should, since we have an esports team in the top 5 Noble Esports, I think it would make sense to have a look and see how these guys are doing. Although my interest is piqued by the name of FPS Macroers, so we might go to them a bit later on. But for now, let's go to Blitzin, I guess, and see how Noble Esports are doing. Oh, they're in some serious action already.
Blitzin.
There's lots of people crawling around on the floor in this area, or I guess they were until they eliminated them. He even got a punch in there in that last fight. So 12 squads left in this game.
Yeah, it's actually something that we haven't even mentioned yet is how amazing the melee is in this game. This game has done melee in an FPS game, I think by far the best I've seen so far. It feels good. It's actually kind of viable. But it's not too strong at the same time. Like it's awesome.
Yeah, I like that there are different things like the punch, the jumping kick, depending on what's going on. You can melee while you're sliding, and all sorts while you're jumping. Yeah, there's a lot of awesome in this game.
Can even kick open doors.
Yeah. Oh god, actually, let's see how this battle goes. They were trying to snipe. Ooh. Which one is it?
Yeah, Mirage is really annoying.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh, found one. Surely he wasn't just on his own. I'm thinking, like, was it worth that guy trying to snipe the people who are going up the balloon? Because I feel like there's an urge to take every engagement when you see one, but sometimes it doesn't really make sense, and it isn't in your favor. Like in that example, we're seeing the guy going up the zipline, although maybe he thought it was just one guy, and then he quickly found out it wasn't, and now he's wrecked.
And this is like a pretty needed fight as well, because considering how many kills they have and how many squads are left and everything, they've not been running they've been running pretty bad on the gear. So finally, like, you can see they're starting to stock up because Blitzen had an R99 and an Eva auto. So it's like, this is a pretty low tier combo, all things considered. The R99 is good with the attachments. We do see the gold stabilizer as well as the blue magazine, scope, and extension as well. So he does have like a pretty good gear at this point, but they needed that fight. So it's good that they got it. He's not full up on his armor just yet as well. They're really looking hungry for that next kill. Let's see if they can find a good fight. And I mean, they're not too far away from the leaders at the moment. They're in 6th place again. As James mentioned, they're about 30 points behind Cheeks Clenched and Wingmen, who are in number 1. Cheeks Clenched just took the lead as well, 166 points. Wingmen behind them with 155. But I think Wingmen are slightly ahead in pace.
Oh, that's the total team kills. It's the far right one, which is the score. So 215 for 226 for Cheeks Clenched and 215 for Wingmen at the moment. But it's still pretty damn close. The hunt continues. Again, there's these guys who've got their volume low on their broadcast as well, so it'll be louder on other ones. 8 squads remaining. Noble Esports. Again, there were a lot of, after the previous Apex tournament from DLive last week, there were a lot of teams, or well, organizations who were tweeting, looking for teams. I know G2 were looking to pick up an Apex team along with a bunch of other organizations as well. And we did see some promising trios last week, but again, it's so early in the game, you don't know what the landscape will look like even a month from now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what these will look like in this game and for them to put proper matchmaking in, so that you actually are playing against good teams as opposed to kind of like the Battle Royale pub stomping style that we see sometimes. But this looks a bit hairy. Like already someone's gone down here, and that's before his teammates could really get in there. That's like the worst case scenario. A lot of damage being done here. Blitzen has to go and re-up all of his shields. Nade comes in, but he needs to buy time for his teammate to get there, as well as to get his shields back up as well. So this is pretty scary right now. All their armor is gone. They may just die here, James. This would be devastating if they do.
I don't know if there's 1 or 2 people remaining on the other team. I like how he's spotting while he's healing himself as well. That's pretty good work. Got a termite grenades coming out as well. That's going to have some great cover. Can they get the banner though? There's what you were looking for. There's a zipline chap, but no ziplines in that area. Oh, the meaty shots, and it seems that they will survive this battle. However, we don't know if anybody else is around that market area who will try to snipe them. Something you've got to be looking up for at all times as well, which is why they jiggle when they are looking through the boxes to raid things, just in case someone's going to try and snipe them, shoot them in the head. Jiggle to make it harder, just in case.
And there's a really real concern here as well because of the competition. Like normally in this scenario, you would probably just find a way to res your teammate, but there's 6 other squads left alive at this point, and they care about time. If you go to like res your teammate, try to get him gear, that's going to kill a lot of time. Now maybe you find some fights along the way. Maybe that gets you closer to the win, but that's not necessarily something that's as consistent. So they'll probably try to get the res here. but only in a way where it's sort of convenient to their pathing. And they've already spotted another spot. There's 2 people right in front of them. This could get really bad considering there's 2 of them left here in this engagement. It's a surprise engagement that they weren't ready for. So looks like they will be adjusting. Looks like that whole team wasn't there at the front of that push, so they actually get the favorable damage exchange at the front, but running through the airstrike is really annoying.
Ooh, ow. I hate seeing those things. I just think, oh god. And even though people say that all the characters run at the same speed, right, with their hands out, obviously, but some have traits which make them run a bit faster in some situations, but it just doesn't feel that way when you're like a caustic or one of the characters which looks heavier, you know? You just feel like you're treading water when you see those things come down.
Yeah, it's also because, like, if it's the airstrike from Bangalore and you're like, I actually avoided the F-bomb there. I'm learning, evolving. But you're like, oh my god, I have to like get away from this, and so you try to run away from it. But obviously, the way that the mechanic works is that on where they drop it, it like progressively goes like further and further forwards. So you're like, it's like chasing you. It's like running after you with the airstrike. So sometimes you actually will have more success by just running forwards as opposed to away from it. So it's
great
cool.
area control.
Yeah,
I think
really
in the late game as well, just for area control, to give yourself space and buy yourself time, I think is probably the most important thing. I don't know how common it is that they get kills, but I mean, it does maim people as well and force them to take cover and at least use like batteries and phoenixes and things like that. So I think it really, really helps when you whip one of those out.
I think as far as like making gameplay more fun, putting gameplay mechanics in a game that could be campy, that forces the opponents to move, is really valuable for like fun. Oh, they were crawling around. And easy. So you can see that they don't think, they didn't get the res off on their teammate. They don't even care about it, which is again like an important consideration. There's only 2 squads left now, and it looks like they found another one here. Look, just being able to see through the smoke with a thermal, so useful. So look how OP it is. They can't even, his opponents can't even see anything.
Absolute madness. That is gorgeous. They're getting so many frags. This guy's got 9 frags. Blitzing. I don't know how many his team have got, but it looks like a high fragging game for them. So they're in 6th, 5th place. They could shoot up the leaderboards if they can get a quick W here. One more team to go. Now the question is, obviously we don't know how close or far the other team are. The circle looks pretty meaty at the moment. If they're close, maybe they try and pick them off while they're looting. If they're far, then who the hell knows what they choose to do. But you can see in the discussion there, they understand the urgency and need to get into the next game ASAP.
No matter how many kills we have, we're gonna kill ourselves so we get a scoreboard.
Yeah, it's nice for Ozov just gets to like chill, just to watch his teammates, just wreck everyone. You get a coffee.
They're actually discussing the late game for the next game as well, because they know there's 17 minutes left. So just before the deadline, it's a lot of these teams are going to just be finding a way to suicide so they can get the scoreboard, the kills from the last game, regardless of if they win or lose.
Did you see that a lot last week where like it got close to the end and everyone's just like hot dropping?
They would look at the time and hot dropping, and then it would be like if they're near a waterfall or something, just jump in there or just run at people to get frags so they can get the kills to submit for the last game. So it seems these guys consider that this will be their last full game, or very likely to be. So they're planning for the future. I think it was a realization throughout the 4 hours last time, but I think people are more prepared this time.
Yeah. Look how split up they are as well. Like you see, they are so split up just by like trying to find out what these last players are, not even sticking together. Actually, I think that's awesome. Might backfire here though, because you can see that they are still a bit split up, having to take cover, use some of those shields. Again, like the sustain, super important in this game. Already being locked down by grenades as well in position, and so it's gonna be down to Mikey Snipey to like help him out here. Mikey Snipey's like closing the distance. Ooh, that's not a bad knock at all with the R99 at range. Closing now with that Peacekeeper as well. And this is a pretty good look once again. Looks like they should be able to finish things off. Oh my god, what is this guy even trying to do? Just sit in the corner. Oh my god. Was he praying? What was happening there?
I think he was praying, personally. But that's an example of, again, these guys, the clock is against them, but the guys they're playing against, the story isn't necessarily the same for them. So people like that hiding in a corner could be the difference between winning and losing. So that's got to be really frustrating. Now we go back to the leaderboard and we can see that Cheeks Clenched are still in first place with 226 points. So I think we'll stick with the top three. Well, I mean, the top three could change as these games continue, because if you look from first place down to sixth place, there are 12 points between all of those teams. And if we go down to seventh as well, even eighth, I think, to be honest, if you go down to 11th, right, depending on the time at which they finish their games, if somebody wins the game with like around 30 frags, the top 10, the top 11 could entirely go upside down. So these next 15 minutes are going to be absolutely crazy. Now, we haven't seen the second place guys, actually, surely not. So I'm going to tune into Austin FBZ, and we will see what these chaps or chapettes are up to. Did I type that incorrectly? I don't know if his one is live. Maybe it's the other one we need to tune into. Okay, the other one is helping. So that's an interesting username. I will register as helping. Okay, I don't see their streams coming up. So all right, so FPS macroers have just made it into second place. So I'm gonna try and pick up that one, which is Zonoskun.
Zonsoken.
Maybe it's Zonsoken. God, can I even pronounce this?
Zonso.
Okay.
Oh, he's got the mouse cam on his stream.
Who's got a mouse cam?
Yeah, he's got the mouse cam.
All right, let's see what his macro game is like. If I don't know what the macro game is in this game, but
Is that all?
Love that. The scout is it's pretty versatile. Even with no scope, you can see that he's actually doing some damage there. Gets the devotion out. The devotion sometimes is annoying because it can be amazing, but like it does require all the attachments and the ammo. It feels quite rare. That's that, you know, high energy ammo is really rare. It feels like so it's difficult to like maintain a consistent approach with that gun. But we'll see if he actually opts to go for it. It'd be quite cool. He's also as a devotion specialist, but there's the wingman, so I presume we'll probably just mostly be seeing that.
I believe he's using a final mouse. I can see the holes. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's really holy. We were supposed to be sent some of those. I had a feeling we wouldn't receive them though.
Yeah, it took a long time for the final mouse Scream edition to come out. I think it was the Scream one. And I was just like waiting for like a year, and I was eventually like, and then now I found a different one, you know. So I found something I'm really happy with.
I think people would buy like a Bardolph edition keyboard, but I don't think they'd buy a Bardolph edition mouse. I'm too notorious with mouse play, but you know, respected for the keyboard making. So we'll see. All right. So these guys have got 14 squads left. So I'm not quite sure how we will roll in, let's say, the last 5 minutes, because obviously this leaderboard is going to change wildly. The top 7 teams have more than 200 points, and 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th all are just like 5 points below that or less. So there's no way to know who's going to finish top even 5, top 10 at this point. It's crazy. Really got to hunt those frags down.
Ooh, he's got the epic skin for the wingman as well.
This is like a Star Trek skin or something.
Yeah. It looks awesome, actually. I like it.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Set the phasers to stun.
Good news is there's only 26 people left.
So they're actually off to a pretty decent start here. Like already 3 kills on Zonso alone. So they managed to like wipe out a couple squads. Only 8 left.
I think Dan would be smart.
And to see if they can find anything else here.
There's already 20 people. What? I mean,
they talk a lot actually, which is cool.
Fuck me, man. I've never had a game go that quick.
And did you hear what they're saying?
Yeah. But that's in a way it's a positive with a view to winning the game. And obviously with 11 minutes left, that's really good as well, because one view is there's a lot of people who've died and we haven't fragged necessarily. But I think the focus is on like get the match out of the way.
Let's check out this area.
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting point. Is like, does it become become worth it to like go for that win. But if the last two teams, for example, like if they like slow play it and they're very campy, then that would be really frustrating. You start to feel like the whole plan backfires then. But
somebody was asking, do they need to finish the game before the time is up? They do, because they have to submit a screenshot of the kills before the game is done. The FPS on this stream is a bit up and down, but I'm going to take a quick look at the leaderboard while they're moving from area to area. We can see that Noble Esports now have made it to first place, but I think a lot of these teams are going to be in a spot where they're not going to finish their games. They're not going to get the bonus 10 points for winning because they're not going to have enough time. But these guys are back in the fight now, so we'll switch back to the main stream. The wingman continues to put in work. I feel like we've seen more wingman than any other weapon today in these 2 hours. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, it's just such a great answer to everything you want. Like again, like burst damage in battle royale games is so strong.
Last guy's low.
Nice fights. That's again like another thing you have to look to when it comes to like balancing this game and like how the game feels with all the weapons. Because again, we've seen a lot of people like very effectively use like the R301. It's again like one of the highest. It has like a higher rate of fire than the flatline does. The flatline is again like the other like most popular AR. So it's cool again that there are options. You know, it's not just like, oh, you have to be good with the wingman or you can't compete. There's definitely options for you, and especially with the Peacekeeper as well. It's burst damage, but it's much easier to use in the wingman, and it's more situational. So always options.
There's shields on Pathfinder.
But it feels like the wingman, like if you're like a fast-moving squad, like we saw Team Wingman, they just move as a unit. They like sweep through an entire map, and it doesn't matter like what the engagement looks like because it's so versatile, and because all three of them can pick that style up and just smash people in the face with the wingman. It actually doesn't matter like what the engagements look like at all, which is very beneficial to speed, which is why I think they're so far ahead of a lot of the other teams.
Skull Piercer, that's a nice upgrade.
Yeah.
Now down to the last 4 squads, so they've halved the numbers pretty quickly. This guy's racking up the kills. He's got 7 frags
on the whole map.
We have 9
minutes.
That's really good.
Yeah, so they're really happy with how things are going at the moment. 11 people left, 9 minutes there. They are content with the situation. Moving on to another area. Let's see how it continues for them again. Noble Esports currently in first place.
What?
I'm going to have a quick look
I just don't even know how to do flying.
at the board once again. Oh, Wingman now in first place. Wingmen, rather. 247. So, again, I think Noble Esports, for example, are in a situation where they need to find a bunch of frags and then just, like, jump off a waterfall or run at a team, die, get a screenshot, submit it. Surely not now in third place. Just 1 point ahead of officials. So, again, like, Cheeks Clenched were first rages, now they're down to 6th. So much could happen in the next 8 minutes.
I'll go other side bunker.
Oh my god, look how big the circle is. It is closing, but slowly.
Yeah, it's looking difficult now to find those last 3 remaining teams. It always goes that way. By the way, I think another good thing about this game, which is kind of cool, is the pacing does work out quite well. Like a slow game is like 20-25 minutes. So it seems like they have a beat as to the position of the remainder of these squads, at least where one of them is, and so they're going to start moving in towards the caves.
So for those of you who need to know the implications of today's playing, the top 10 teams will go to the finals next week, and the top 5 most voted will also go to the finals next week. A total of 15 teams will make it through to next Saturday. So
they're pretty low.
Again, considering that the top 10 is being fought for by at least 15 teams at the moment, that's pretty crazy. But we'll keep an eye on things as it continues.
Yeah, and again, like,
they're
just
all
to
pretty
remind
low
you guys,
except
if you feel like you really enjoy the gameplay of any of these streams or personality, the communication, like whatever it might be, give them a follow. And by viewing on DLive, you get rewarded as the consumer of the content. Not just the content. It's not just the content creators that gets rewarded. It's more on this platform.
It sounds wild, but I looked at the top 35, and I think all of those teams, if any of those teams are in a spot where they can get a win, they can make it to the top 10.
Interesting. That's going to be really interesting to see how that pans out. Do you have any like who do you think is gonna make it? Like, do you have any guesses? Like,
14 kills. Oh, they could have. That's bad.
They were going into caves and then they turned.
That's bad. That's bad.
Yeah, that's not the best.
I can't
Because
say
I still feel like Wingmen will win this. That's who I think will win. Obviously, as you say, it's like really close, but that's who I'm gonna call.
Yeah, we'll tune into Wingmen shortly since they're in the lead at the moment. But again, let's go to like third place has got 232 points right now, right? So let's say you could get 40 points if you have a good game and you win. So if you go down to like 190, look how far we're going down. We're going down to 40th place. If somebody in these next 5 minutes wins a match from 40th, even below 40th, they could be in the top 10. It's crazy. Like, it's honestly, anybody can end up in the top 10 right now. It is completely bonkers. Okay, so we're going to go back to the Wingmen stream, which is Schmoose. I keep putting a C in there for some reason.
Schmoosh.
Okay.
What a name. Schmoosh, Pie Man, Tipsy.
See Schmoose back in the action.
Love it.
They've got 13 squads left, so I don't think they're going to get the 10-point bonus for winning this match in time. So I think in maybe like 4 or less minutes, they're going to have to find somebody, just run at them and die.
That's the thing though, like sometimes you just like you get really lucky and everyone's just like in one place. It does happen. It's not as common. Oh my god, they're just all lining up for the Wingman. And there you go, just knocking the team. So one poor soul remaining. Where is he? Oh, and they're all dead. All gone now.
Dead now, of course.
Yeah, it's so satisfying to like to knock people and take people down in this game. It feels really good. So they did a good job with that. Did respawn. So Shattered Forest.
Who are you guys in the chat rooting for? Yeah, I like see this place on the left? It's like wasteland which has been burned down. There's like nothing in that area. And once I was solo queuing and somebody decided to drop in there, and I'm like, why have you done this? There's literally nothing here. You don't really have the terrain to like slide somewhere quickly either. You're just in the middle of nowhere, at the mercy of the world around you. That is natural selection when you're at the wrong end of it.
Whatever the fuck language.
It is like.
Thank you, man.
I have to say again, like it's pretty cool that they in those more sparse areas there are like there's like a supply bin. Like there is always kind of something that you can maybe get your hands on. So that feels kind of good as well. Like even if you feel starved for stuff. But yeah, I agree. It's like the worst feeling when you're like playing solo queuing and then the guy that has the jump master is just doesn't know at all where to drop or like how to drop. So you get like wherever you go, you get the slowest drop there.
LT the third in chat is asking how DLive works regarding revenue partnership and all that. The company doesn't take any cut of the revenue that you make on the system, which is pretty cool. It is built on the Lino blockchain, and there's a lot of information on the community pages. So have a look around the site. There's plenty of information. It's pretty cool. You can be rewarded as a viewer as well. Again, if you haven't registered an account, just register an account and you'll see a treasure chest under the player, and you'll constantly build your own reward as well. So it's a pretty cool platform, and there's plenty of information to see. Now, again, we've got 2 minutes left, so I'm really wondering, these guys need to think about getting fragged as opposed to fragging and getting those screenshots to submit their scores. Lulu Asana says, Bardolph, be my dad. If I don't need to feed you or wipe your ass, then maybe we can do a deal.
Alright, well, Moose is he's definitely powdering some bottoms, and I think they've spotted another squad. They seem to be closing in on another one there, and like the Wingman comes out as we expect. It's like Wingman Simulator 2019.
On me.
And sometimes I have to say, like at the very close range, you don't have to ADS it, but it feels hard to judge sometimes still for me because I don't have as much playtime as I'd like. I think I've only played 50 to 70 hours.
Lifeline right there.
Oh, I see they're killing themselves with nades because they want to get another start. 10 scores left. They got a few kills. Are they trying to kill themselves?
Yeah.
Because now they're rezzing. Tipsy's rezzing. Okay, they seem unshot. Oh,
he's got no nades.
Yeah, so he has nothing to kill himself with. So they're trying to find some nades now so that he can kill himself. Oh my god.
Does he have to res to drop grenades or something?
No, but maybe his teammate has some grenades left.
Oh my god! But what if he can't find a way? What if he can't find a way to frag himself?
At least they get it to the end.
That would be insane.
Oh.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, so let's see how many kills they got. So they got 12 kills. Not bad at all.
That'll do. I mean, it helps, right?
1 point counts.
Yes.
Every bit helps.
So how much do they have time left for anything else? They got 3 minutes.
I don't think so.
They got less than 3 minutes.
By my clock, by my G-Shock, which is with the atomic clock, they don't. But I don't know if the atomic clock is what we're going by. So we will have a look at the leaderboard now, and we can see that all plans at the moment are in first place. But with 12 kills, they are going to lose it when the wingman score comes in. So we'll be in tune with the leaderboard here until we get the notification from DLive that the final results are in. So it's all to play for. It's all very interesting now. We're just going to see this table constantly update, and it's going to be very curious. Again, the top 10 is what we're looking for from the leaderboard, but also the top 5 voted by the community will also make it into the finals next week. I have to say, I was from the streams we saw, I was really impressed by the wingman stream.
Yeah. They had that clear strategy, and again, like the wingman approach, like the wingman, it's pretty easy to find some wingman, so it's like not a very rare item, and you can just like sweep through areas with it, and if your teammates aren't super close to you, you know, it's probably always gonna be like you're probably always gonna be fighting close to mid-range, so you always have an answer for that with your entire team. So I kind of like the versatility, and it clearly paid off for them. They obviously all have really good aim to back it up with, so that strategy seems to work. But and I do wonder what the future for the wingman is going to be like in this game. I guess we'll see what Respawn's response to its strength is.
I like the damage. I think different ways they could nerf it, so to speak, is to make it harder to find is one way to do it, so it's rarer, or have rarer ammo, like make it use energy ammo or something, or obviously the first shot is super accurate and as the other ones aren't so accurate, so maybe like they can have more cooldown for the follow-up shots considering the damage. So I like the idea of having a weapon like that which does meaty damage. So I'd want to keep the damage and maybe have like a balance in the accuracy for the follow-up shots, because some guys knew the timing to just go bang